not in a very good shape, hit with a car at 3 years old, 35 miles an hour. They say I flipped in the air, landed on my feet mad. And not too long after that, I had polio. I was in an isolation hospital. I was in an iron lung. They didn't think I'd live, and if I lived, they didn't think I'd walk. And I ended up playing for the national championship basketball team in 1961 as the leading rebounder and scorer in Madison Square Garden. So when I tell you there's so much more in you than you have perhaps ever put in the game of life, I know what I'm talking about. And as you hear it, you know it too. I try not to speak so much to the intellectual side of your brain, but for the inside that knows. We all know. We make our lives about forgetting what we were born with. And I remember being ridiculed because I couldn't walk very well when I first started to come out of the polio, and I had to exercise extensively. And I knew what it felt like to feel on the outside. We used to play ball in the streets, and the kids, they had it figured out. I had to learn a lesson real quick, and I'll tell you what it meant to me. When we played street ball, baseball, you take the bat, and you put one hand over another like this, and the last guy would go like this, the very tip of the bat. He got the pick first of all the kids that wanted to play. Now, there were limited positions because you might have 50 kids want to play where only 18 are going to be selected, 9 on each team. And it dawned on me that the captain of one team, if he won the first pick, clearly picked the best player. And then the other opposing captain picked the second best player. And then it was the third best player and the fourth best player. There was a selection process that I saw absolutely work in life as life went on. That people are discerning. They're going to go with winners. And they're going to keep going until they find winners. And not everyone's going to be a superstar, but everyone can be a winner. And I can remember sitting on the curb, wishing that someone would fall down, maybe break an ankle, so that I'd have a chance to get in the game. And I found through life, most everybody has that kind of experience. Something you want desperately that seems out of reach, and then we start believing we can't get it. I guess I just didn't know how to quit. And I kept going. And the worst thing that happened is I was playing on my grammar school basketball team, and I was not a star. I was on the bench. And we were playing this game, and some of my teammates started to foul out, and I got put in the game with the score tied. And I was nervous. You ever feel like that? You're called upon, and you got to do it? Well, let me tell you what happened. I got out there, and I got so excited there was a loose ball. I just gave up my body. I got the loose ball. I stood up, and I looked, and I saw a basket. I just ran down, put the ball up, said a couple of prayers on the way. The thing went around and went in. I felt so excited. I turned around, and my teammates are throwing their towels on the floor. The crowd is booing. Half the crowd is laughing. I scored for the other team. Now let's go home that night and brag about your ball game. I only tell you this because everybody's got a story. The problem is, you let your stories define you. You let your stories limit you. It's about self-image. You see, self-image controls you. Whatever you really think about yourself, you will manifest in your life. Your limitations are controlled by the thoughts you have of yourself. What you produce in your life is going to be the outburst of that self-image as it acts out choices and behaviors in your life. The self-image We gain most of it in our childhood. And when you think about that, we've all had those experiences in our childhood where a parent or a friend or a teacher may not have thought we were too cool. And we started to buy the deal, and then we started to live out their opinions of my possibilities. And we're all guilty of that until we wake up. No one ever had a right to tell you you're less than and you can't do it. Only you can buy it. You know, I sit and I hear and I watch all these incredible people that work hard to get promoted to positions, and I say to myself, if I were sitting there, here would have been my question. They look like ordinary people to me. I'll bet you they get up in the morning and put their socks and shoes on just like I do. What would be the difference of them being here and you still sitting there? Would you like me to teach you about it?
Yes.
You may not like it. You see, they got a self-image that they got over. To some degree, they said, no, this I am doing. You see, tentative is no power. When you are tentative, you are just oozing with weakness. Oh, I'll give it a try. Go home and go to bed. It ain't gonna work. And someone ought to tell you the truth. Oh, I'll do it when I'm motivated. No, you won't, because you don't understand motivation. Most people think motivation is when I'm pumped up and feeling good. No, that's a temporary acceleration of an emotion. It doesn't sustain. What's the real truth of motivation? Be happy if it shows up as an inspiration, but I'll guarantee you, if you just do the discipline of what you're supposed to do, whatever you were feeling in the beginning won't matter. It'll catch up while you're doing things. There's the key to motivation. It's called commitment and discipline. Oh, aren't those words we don't like? Those are words we just don't like. We've really been running from them most of our lives, if we tell the truth. You mean I have to be committed? No, you need to find out what you want first. You see, most people live their lives, they're not bad people, but don't keep saying you want more and you don't do more. Don't keep saying I want to be this without getting prepared how to be this or that. It's all connected. We live our lives like spiders in a web, a bug in a spider's web, thrashing and pushing and shoving and rearranging, and all the time we just stay in the quagmire of average. Wouldn't you like to break out? Wouldn't it be nice to say, I'm getting out of that spider web. I want to know who I am. I want to know the powers that I have, and I want to get this mind to mind right, because this is the deal right here. As you think, so you are. As you think, so shall you become. Did you ever hear it? The great minds and the great philosophers throughout history knew the incredible power of human thought. And most people, they just rearrange antique furniture from the past, calling it thought. And they don't break through to say, what type of thinking do winners have that I'm still sitting here without? Well, I'll tell you what, you have to change your thinking. You see, thoughts have created the life you have right now. And thoughts will continue to create the life you shall have tomorrow and the following tomorrows. Human thought. I think a thought, it stimulates a feeling. The two of those get together and it pitches me into a choice or a behavior. The behavior over time becomes a habit. And the habit over time, in that combination, and that string, creates the circumstances called my life. So whose thoughts created your life? Yours. Whose thoughts have you in the position you're in with money or anything else? Yours. Oh, I didn't like that either. That wasn't fun to come to grips with. I am responsible for my own reality. Wow. Wow. That's enlightenment. I am responsible. Yeah. Yeah. Do I need to change? If you look at your life, and if you understand what's in your life is the byproduct and consequence of what you've been thinking up to now, and you're not happy with it, would it make sense that your thinking is creating your reality, that you change your thinking? Dr. William James, the father of American psychology, near the end of his life was asked, what is the greatest discovery of your generation? To which he said that a human being can alter the circumstances of their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. Wow. Are you saying, doctor, that if I change my thinking, I can change my circumstances? Amen. Precisely. So ask yourself this, what is the nature of my thoughts to create the life I have now? Because there's no one else doing it. What is the nature of my thinking that is creating the life I have? And if I want more and better, there's no other way. I gotta give more and become better. Can I say that again? I have to give more so that I can deserve more, and that consequence of giving and serving and doing and growing is reward. People are running around looking for fast rewards and the shortcuts. And it don't work. They always explode. Be, do, have. Be, become. Become what? Become your own miracle. Get in touch with your own power. Use your own mind. Think your own thoughts. Create your own reality. That's be. And when I be, I'm being educated. I get educated by being around people who know, not people who don't know. You're controlled by the people you hang with. The people you listen to, you homogenize your thinking and behaviors to be in agreement with them. We all want to be loved and accepted, do we not? Oh yes. So sometimes we will just compromise our own thoughts to be popular or accepted. We were masters at it as children and kids, weren't we? Absolutely masters at it. We'd sell out in a minute to be loved or feel okay. And the influence that we're getting may not have been good at all. So as I'm thinking, I'm creating. So I need to understand something. You got a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. Conscious mind says, oh, you know what? I'm going to do this, whatever it is. The unconscious mind says, oh, let's see if he's really serious. The unconscious mind will bring to you of the same nature of what you really want in your conscious mind. It's an obedient servant once you have given it clear direction. The problem is, we don't set goals. We're like wandering generalities, creatures of routine. We get up in the morning, for most of us, we go off to a place called a job or a career. Pretty quickly we know the game, the rules, who to like, who to dislike, who to please, who to get away from, who to hang with. Most of the conversation at work is not accelerating. It's not motivating. It's survivalism. Most of it is complaining. If this was this, if this was that. So you don't realize that your psyche and spirit is being kind of chewed away all day long. Then you leave, and you get into traffic, and you drive, and you finally get to where you're going, called home. And you eat some supper, maybe have a drink or two, and now let's go turn on the boob tube to see how the world is destroying itself. All that's being fed, yes? Then we go to sleep, and the next day, what do? We do exactly the same thing. You want to know why? Because we want the routine. We don't want to be challenged. We want to know it's okay. We want to feel somewhat comfortable. But what if I told you that the road to success has a lot of discomfort, but it's well worth it? You want financial freedom? The first person you need to free is you. You need to know you can. You need to turn off that television. You need to know what's wasting time and why are we hiding. You know, there's research out that says a person who buys a book in a bookstore, 90% of the people don't get past the first chapter, and the book sits somewhere on a shelf. What does that say to us? We're very lazy. We're academically lazy. I think it was Bertrand Russell that said the hardest thing for a human being to do is to think. Interesting. The hardest thing for a human being to do is to think. Now, so let's talk about creating our reality. There might be 8,000 people here. I want you to know there's not 2 of you in this room are hearing the same thing from me. That's interesting, huh? You think you are. You can't. You have so many perceptional filters in front of you in nanoseconds determines what I'm saying. Does it fit with your belief system? Does it fit with what you've been told? Does it fit with comfort? Does it make me uncomfortable? You have so many filters, we all do. So the information that's coming in is played in many different tunes. So now, if that is what it is, and it is, then who's creating your reality? There are no 2 similar realities. Everyone creates their own through the process of thinking, through the filters of your influence from the time you were born, your education, your religion, everything is filters. And then in nanoseconds, you make a decision as to what you hear, what you like, what you don't like,